Sorry about the late start. I guess it just needed that extra like half hour. But I finally got headphones on today, which is fantastic because now I don't have to keep muting myself and then turning the volume up so I can hear what's going on and then muting myself and then unmuting myself. The problem was with this piano in front of me, my headphones don't reach, so I had to get a headphone jack extender to just extend it out a little bit longer. So I got this like 10-foot headphone jack extender that's actually doing a pretty solid job, so that I can tuck it underneath the piano up through it and then plug it into the actual speakers. So now that works out great. Now the only problem is when I do listen to something, I can't fool around with it or else you're going to hear that and the music going on. So that's going to get kind of annoying. But now there's just no mess. It makes things like 10 times easier. Alright, what are we doing today? We're doing a couple things. I have a couple things planned for today. So after talking about it yesterday, I got really excited about this game, Valhalla. I guess it's called VA11 Hall A, technically. Cyberpunk Bartender Action is what the game is called, which is a ridiculous name. But the music for it is really cool. And in fact, I will need a grand staff for it at some point. So I want to take a listen to like some of their stuff just to kind of give you an insight as into like what type of music it is that they're playing. So I'm gonna do something like actually, is this even the, yeah, this is the intro song. I didn't realize it was called that. I thought it was just moving my breakfast over, so I haven't even eaten it. It is 17 degrees here. It is freaking freezing. So I have to wear like it's warm in the apartment, but I just had to walk down the street to get my coffee, and so I am freezing. So I'm gonna play a couple different songs from their OST just to give you an idea, because there are some pretty different songs. I should say that much. So we're gonna listen to like the very first one that plays like during the opening cutscene. All this stuff usually is looping stuff, so keep that in mind too, because what's supposed to happen is this is all supposed to be stuff that's on a jukebox during the game, right? Well, I guess it's not all looping, but most of it just kind of fades out. So yeah, keep that in mind. I'm just gonna kind of click through some of this stuff because some of them we might want to hear, some of them we might not. And this is actually, let me just see, because I happen to know one thing. There are two different CDs. Oh no, I guess this combines both of them. There are like two different tracks, but I guess this combines both of them. So we're gonna listen to like the first one, and then I'll click into a couple others. Right, so that's all that is. Nice and simple. And what's interesting is that's only like 4 layers deep, right? There's the doom, ch, doom, doom, ch, doom, ch, doom, doom, ch, ch. There's that. There's the held chord. It's not the melody. It's just the kind of the fade in. In this case, I think it's what key is this in? E flat minor. There's just like that being held over time, and then eventually it goes to, or it's like that, and that's racing in, and then there's this doom 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 doom. This like I guess it's a moving line. This kind of moving line just kind of. Right, there's kind of this moving line going on underneath all of it, and then the actual melody, which is... So there's this, and then it goes to... all these kind of fade-in chords. Oops. And it's really only just 4 layers deep. So keep that in mind, because a lot of this stuff is made out of these kind of simple things as well. This next one is actually really cool, and just like completely different than the first one. I should say they have like the same synths and stuff, but this one I just really like the drums in it. I think the drums is absolutely sick in this. It does some little subtle things that I think are awesome that are coming up. I don't know why I love that. I love that, just that little like anticipated beat. I think that's so sick. See, this is like one of the only songs that kind of has this whole, it's like a real song. Like there's all this stuff combined in it. A lot of this stuff in here is just extremely simple, like the first one, where it was only like 3 chords. This one is really nice and well thought out. I love this song. And it sucks that you can barely hear the drums, because the little subtle things that they do, not just that anticipation thing, but the little subtle things that the drums do in this song is really, really cool. And yeah, it's in like a cool key, and it's, you know, it starts off in C. And back to. Yeah, this is a really cool song. And then it actually has like a B section where it goes into like E major, which is pretty cool. What's another good one? This one. I like this one. So a lot of the songs in this album, I should mention, they kind of start off with something very simple. Like there's usually drums, or in this case, like held chords. So I think this is in I'm just guessing. Yeah, I don't even think that those are the chords. I'm just taking a wild shot in the dark. But they start off like that, and then the drums build in, and then about a minute in, there's an actual melody that kind of comes in, which is, I think, a really cool way of doing things to kind of show people the different layers of your song. And a lot of the songs are like that. But we'll keep going here. I don't like that one. I like this one. That was pretty simple. Not very long. It's got like the Phil Collins intro. But as an example, that other one started off with the melody, and there actually was no percussion in that at all, which is kind of interesting. So there's an example that starts off with percussion, right, and then eventually everything just kind of comes in at once. So that's an example of everything coming in at once, right? What's this one? I like this one. This is a good one. So that's an example of the melody and the harmony coming in at the same time. And then that interesting little just random saxophone thing. It's like the only time a saxophone's in any of these songs. And then the percussion comes in afterwards, right? This is gonna be a weird one. I really like this one for some reason. It's super simple. Oh, this is like one of the ones that plays all the time. I really like this one, but it gets old because if you ever, like, I watched someone play through this game, well, some of the game, they didn't finish it. And oh my god, I got so sick of this song, but it's a good one. It's a pretty cool one though, right? don't even know what the chords are. I'm just kind of like spitballing. But yeah, I really like that one. Oh, I love this one. I should also mention that each one of these songs has their own name for them, and they all make sense, too. They all kind of sound like their title. Oh, it's the same thing. Both those are called Last Call and then Last Stop for the Night. I thought they were going to be different. They're not. And this is the last one in the thing. This is very similar to one of the other ones that... I think it's this one? No. This one? No. This is a good one, too. Maybe it's this one. No, but this is another... This is a cool one. See, that's another one where the percussion comes in later. But they all kind of have this interesting little development, and I really like these songs. None of them are too difficult, but they're all pretty catchy. I like that about them. They all kind of follow a very similar path, where, you know, there's a few chords here or there that come in. They all kind of have the same synth sound going on. They all have the same sort of... They all have a very similar style. I think that's pretty evident just by listening to it. So I think that needs to be kept in mind when we're writing this stuff. Is like it's a very similar style. It's how all this works. So that being the case, if we write when we go to write something like this, we have to kind of keep in mind the style that we want to use for this. So yeah. Ooh. Now obviously I don't have any of the synth pads and stuff that they use. This is how the actual thing is spelled out, like this. So I'm just spelling out like that. I did not use the bathrooms this morning. I woke up this morning and I did not use the bathroom, so I'm going to go do that real quick. I'm just going to kind of leave this playlist on, alright? I will be right back. But it did. Oh well. Anyways. So we were talking about this game and its music and how awesome it is. So actually you heard this too. Just kind of a different song. It's a little different. So, when writing something like this, we have to kind of put it out into layers, right? We have to decide what's going to come first, what's going to come second. We have to decide what the percussion is going to be to start, because a lot of the times, even if the like harmony and melody don't really match up with the percussion right away, or at least doesn't seem like it, they eventually make sense together. So you kind of have to come up with all three things at once here. So I guess first off, what key do we want to play this in? Well, a lot of the stuff that it's in is things like C sharp minor. It's in a lot. It's in E major a lot. A few songs in G major. They're actually pretty diverse with what keys they play it in. So we have a little bit of freedom to play it in kind of whatever key we would like it to be in. So I think we need to keep that in mind as we're playing through this. Also, do we want this to be major or minor? Because, again, some of the stuff is major or minor, some of it isn't. As an example, this is probably major, more C major. Right. This is also, well, this is actually probably minor. Let's go to more C. That was more G minor, right? So, let me refresh the string quickly. Whatever we decide to choose, we have to kind of decide now. We also have to kind of decide a beat as well. What about A flat minor? Yeah, let's do. Now, we're probably going to play most of this stuff using the electric piano sound. Yeah, I like A flat minor to start. As with a lot of the songs that are in this playlist, it doesn't tend to stay in keys a lot of times. They will move around kind of like how I moved around there, which is I'm just going down in minor chords, just. Again, listen to like it's an example. If I could find it. Maybe this one? No. This one? Nope. Shit. Now I'm never gonna find it. Well, actually, this one's a good example. Listen to this. So right, that moves in minor, just in minor chords, just. And then eventually goes down to there. Right, so that all moves in minor chords, right? It doesn't. It's kind of a different type of movement of chords, because usually you throw in something major or you throw in like a 5 chord every once in a while. No, it's just all minor chords moving. I don't know exactly what those last few are, but so I kind of want to do something similar to that. So that's why I'm thinking. Actually, I have to do that so I can hear exactly what I'm playing. So we're going to start here. And then eventually we can kind of develop that a little bit more. Go to some different keys and stuff like that. So, if that's the case, we have to pick kind of like a beat that we're going to play for that. So let me grab my sticks, which are right over there. Should always make sure I have these like nearby when I'm about to string, because these end up coming in more use than I think. Because I'm like, well, I'm not really a percussionist, so I'm not going to need them, but I need them, especially for this. This is so important to the actual thing. Let me just see here. So I think we should start by kind of trying to get an idea of what we think it's going to be based off of the chords and stuff that we're playing. It's actually going to be kind of similar to this. Oh no! Good thing that didn't fall. That would have been like extremely loud. So, what we want to do is maybe thinking kind of like this triplet thing. I don't want it to sound too similar to that one, though. Maybe that. Maybe play it like this. Yeah. Starting to play with like a triplet feel, I think would be good. I want it in 4/4, but just like 1, 2, 3, 4, deep, 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 deep. So if we play this in A flat minor, let's lower the volume here. That's going to require lots of flats. Six flats on both sides of the, on both sides, obviously. Yeah, I want it to be at 4/4, but I just want whatever the drums are doing, I want them to just kind of be going doop 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 doop, putting emphasis on a triplet feel. So what I'm going to say is drums, triplet feel. Put, yeah, we'll get it from there. So it's going 1, 2, 3, 4. And maybe we can go like 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and instead of 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. Now, maybe it needs to be in 2/4 then. If we're gonna play it that. That's like borderline. That's borderline between do we want to play it in 4/4 or do we want to play it in 2/4. It's kind of like right on the border. Because what we could do is something along the lines of like. Let me think about this. So 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2. Or 1, 2, 3, 4. Or 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and so it's kind of like right on the border. I think what we'll do is just 1 and 2 and 3, 4, 1. Something like that. So it's gonna be a little slower. Let me grab my metronome and figure out exactly how fast that is. It's pretty slow. But we should get an idea of how fast it is. Where is my metronome? There it is. So if I tap this out, 1, 2, 3, 4, 70. Oh, 72. That's actually not like. Yeah, 72 is not that slow. So that'll work. So mark it down as 72. Right. Again, we want it to be something along the lines of. A little louder. I gotta have like one ear open. So so while this is going on, so or deep 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 triplet 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 triplet. So it's it's a little similar though to this. I don't want it to be too similar to this. Yeah, because that's literally the same tempo and everything as that. I don't want it to be too similar. Although there are some songs that are the exact same as that too. Like some songs with the same sort of tempo. I guess we could speed it up. I don't like it that sped up though. I kind of like that too. Is that too subtle? I don't know. I kind of like that, like going like right, like as a B section. So, I think we have at least the chord changes down that we want, and the melody. Do 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 do. So, da da da. Oh no, I turned off the thing. Do 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 do. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and that's 1 and 1 1 1 and do 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 do. See, here's the thing. If we do it like this, it's do 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 do. We're gonna get into like 30-second notes. Da 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 da. I don't know. I guess 30-second notes would be digga 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 digga. So it'd be 1, 2, bum 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 bum. So I guess it wouldn't be exactly like that. Boo doo boo doo doo. So it'd be like this. With these two being 16th notes. Do 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 do. I'm writing a grand staff, by the way, because I may want to put in specific stuff for the bass. Have not decided yet. Because actually, one thing that's kind of interesting about all of this music is there isn't exactly like a bass line that's like really defined in a lot of them. Boo do 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 do. Boo do do and do 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 do. Do 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 do. Yeah, so this would be a 16th rest. Oops. Oh, this is the wrong. It should be B, C, B. Just straight up wrong notes. And then, like this. Do 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 do. And then this. Boo boo do 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 do. And so this would then be tied to I guess it would be how exactly would you do that? Unless we just did. In which case this would be tied to a half note. Why don't we do that? So, do 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 do. So, this would be this. And now we're going to have to put in some ties. There's going to be a lot of ties. Because these are all on off beats now. Do, 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 do. So I guess this would be... like this, right? And they have to have flags on them. They can't be attached because they're all on off beats, so they have to be more well defined that they're like this. But they are eighth notes. Do 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 do. Yeah. So at this point we have 2 and a 16th, and then okay, so it's like this. So this would then be tied to, or maybe we don't have to tie it. Maybe this can just be this. Well, let me think about that for a minute. So I think that'd be 5 beats, which would mean that this would have to get tied to no, I guess that'd be 4 beats. So it'd be this. So what do we have here if I did this? Because what it should be is this should be should work out like that, right? So this should be fine, but we have to see if it's okay. So this would get linked up to this, which would make it 1. That would be 2. This would be 3, and that'd be 4. Ho ho ho! That's how you do it. So it's a dotted eighth note, 2 eighth notes that are separated from each other because they're on off beats, a quarter note, and then a 16th note, 2 16ths and an eighth, and that all works out. See how much work it is to just to figure that out? Now we have this one's easier. Do 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 do. I should also write that this is G flat minor. This is going to be E minor. But we're going to have a lot of naturals in this one. So, natural. Natural. Another natural. Then we're on off beats again, so we have to keep that in mind. I am doing... Okay, so I talked about this very briefly. I'm not even sure if you were actually in the stream or not during the time. There's a game that I discovered last year and watched someone kind of do a let's play of a little bit. They didn't actually finish it. That I thought its music was really, really cool. So I am basically just writing a song that would go with that game. And let me play some of its music for you so you can hear it. This is like the opening song. Because it's important to hear it and understand it too. Lots of synths. It's another song. I'll play one more. This one actually has like no percussion in it. It's just kind of these weird, goofy synth sounds that are pretty sweet. But I was like, wow, this music is really cool. And there's like 65 songs they wrote for this, too. Because this game takes place in a bar, for the most part. And so this is supposed to be the jukebox that plays underneath it. Because the game is really, it's not even really a game. It's more just kind of like a visual novel. Well, I shouldn't even say that. Because, no, there is stuff you do in it, I guess. Technically, you're the bartender and you're, like, making drinks for people. But it's mostly a story-based game. So... all this music is stuff that kind of plays in the background that kind of just fits with the theme of this kind of futuristic bar type of thing. So that's what I'm going with. Now, I know I was playing it with piano, but for now I'm just playing it like this. Or what did I say the melody was going to be for that? That's right. And then maybe I can do something like... I don't know how that gets back to that, but oh well. So... Again, we're going to be on offbeats. This is all 16th notes. This is going to be attached to another 16th note, like this. And then these are going to be 8th notes. So boo doo 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 doo. Now I don't know what I want to do for that. Yeah, maybe that. Still showing logic to the stream. What do you mean? Oh, like explaining what I'm doing? Or just, I think that's what you mean. Yeah, sometimes I go a little too fast for the stream, definitely. And I urge people that if I'm not making sense, like the duh. Oh, you mean sound wise? Oh, I've kind of fixed that. No, I'm using Pro Tools to edit things. No. I don't have a Mac. This is all. This is a gaming PC actually that I stream off of. So it's fast enough and powerful enough to do a decent stream without having any problems. Yeah, this thing is sick. I absolutely love this. This PC is like one of the best investments I ever made in my life. It was less than $1,000, and I bought it right when I got out of college. And I had it, like I did like the custom built stuff like you're supposed to do because that's how you do it, I guess. And it was, best investment I've ever made in my life. This is like the fastest PC I've ever had, ever. Like, I love this thing. I really do. So good. Never had one issue with it, ever. I think the only issue I ever had was right before I started streaming, like relaunching my stream at the beginning of January. I got a virus because I was trying to illegally download something, and then that was a problem. But that was my fault, not the computer's fault. Anyways, I like. So we eventually have to get to. We have to get to this at some point. Actually, I guess this would not be correct. So this is one. This is one. So we have two. So we need another one and another thingy. So I guess this would be this. Yeah, I was actually trying to download something that was like editing software for the... I was trying to get to Sony Vegas. Because I had it once before. Because I had a Mac a while ago. And that's how I used... I tried to make YouTube videos once, and that's how I used to do it. I used to make YouTube videos with my buddies. And that's how we would do it, off of my Mac. And so I had Sony Vegas to edit videos. We also made like really cool vlogs and stuff if we ever went on vacation. But those kind of fell through the wayside. I don't even know where any of those vlogs are, to be honest. This next part at least is easy enough to write out. Nice long little horribly written 16th notes. Again, this is going to be tied to I don't know why I did it up like that, but oh well. That's how that goes. Do 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 do. So, and then and it should be at the end this. And then this should be a 16th note. And then this should be like this, I believe. I have to think about that. Yeah, so this should be 4, which means, can I just make this a, in that case, and then this needs to be naturalized. And then I think I can just play this normally, reflat it. It's not, I don't think that's a technical term. That's the technical term I'm going with. Reflatting something. And then we're going to rewrite all this just to make it look like it has a little bit more sense to it. Oh, all right, there, yeah, there that goes. And then this. Yeah. Perfect. Okay. So, it may seem a little strange. I just want to count this out, make sure it makes sense to everyone involved. So this is 1, right? The first set of 16th notes, that's 1 beat. Then we have a 16th note here, and then an 8th note. And then we have a 16th note here. So that's all 1. So that's a 2nd beat. This quarter note is a 3rd beat, and then these 2 8th notes is a 4th beat. I know that seems weird to count it out that way, but because these are all on off beats, they're going to be kind of strange looking. And then this has to also be reflatted, but because these are all on off beats, it kind of looks strange. So what I tend to do is we have to get 4 beats, right? So we just count out 4 beats using the many different notes we have here. So like I said, first set here is 1 beat. The first set of 16th notes, the first 4. Here's the 16th note. Here's the 16th, here's the 16th note. Here's an 8th note, and here's another 16th note. That's another beat, right? And then 2 8th notes here is another beat, and then this quarter note is another beat. So it's 4 total beats. We're good. It's all covered. And then if you play it, they're all on off beats. Do 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 do. Right. And then it goes back up to the top. And that barely fits. I'm actually going to have to go on to another page, I think. And the reason I wrote a grand staff, like I said, is because I kind of want a... I'd like to put in a bass line here in some way, shape, or form. You know, something like that. I want a bass line in there, though. Oh yeah. And then this here. Once we play this, it's now D flat minor 7. And then we get back to A flat. And it works out all nice and easy. Let me refresh the stream. And I'm going to write down, because I don't want to forget the B section. I have an idea for the next section of the song, and I don't want to forget it, so I'm going to write that down really quick. And I don't want to forget this. Do, 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 do. One, dun, 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 dun. Yeah, so this is gonna be 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, and couple more offbeats. I love my offbeats. And then the rest is pretty simple. This is tied to this, and then this is just this. I'm just trying to think. No. Yeah. And these chords are A flat minor 7, B flat minor 7, and then this is a B minor major 7. Love this chord. It's a sick chord. So it sounds like this. It sounds, you can really hear the chord better with like a regular piano sound, like the subtleties of a chord better with a regular piano sound as opposed to an electric one. So I like to use the regular piano sound just to make sure that it still sounds good. So yeah. So this part is another more offbeats. Oh man, is this making weird noises? Don't make weird noises on me now. I had to get a headphone jack extender, so I finally got one. It's awesome. Love it. Because with this piano in front of me, I couldn't plug in my headphones. So every time I wanted to play a song on YouTube or just in general, I had to mute myself so that it wouldn't play twice through my speakers and through So now that I have this headphone jack center, it's just fantastic. It's like 10 feet long too. Do 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 do. So this would be D and then D natural. So it'd be like this. Actually, we can write this out like this, which is kind of nice. Oh, I hate to do it, but I think we have to. We have to write double flat. We don't normally have to do that, but when we have two attached things like this, we kind of have to write double flat. And we want it to be this, or I like the second one. So there's a gap there. And then we would have a regular eighth note, right? So this is 1 and this is 2. And then I feel like this isn't, I'm not writing this out properly. B minor major. It's tough to write out. B minor major 7. And then this would be the exact same thing. Written out exactly the same. Except, well, first of all, when we play this, we have to define that again as a flatted note, as just a regular flat. Because if you don't, people are going to think that it's still a double flat. So we got to write flat again, so that it makes more sense. The only difference here is this is going to end up being tied over into the next chord, or the next measure, right? So it's going to look like this. So we have to actually continue this on the other side of the page. So let me just quickly write this out, because if I don't, well, it's easier for me to just write it out over here because I can actually like reach and see what I'm doing. And it doesn't take me as long when I'm trying to reach over and like write out everything specifically. And since we're on a new page, we have to rewrite everything. There. So we had this tied note from earlier coming over. Right. And we're going to keep all of this exactly the same. And the reason I'm rewriting it is because it's only 2 measures, first of all. This can be easily rewritten. And then right afterwards, it's going to change immediately. So instead of putting like a repeat here, I feel like that's just a waste. Also, with this tied note now, this is technically different. So, you know, to be on the safe side, we're going to write it out. Plus, it gives you some practice. So it's this. Sorry, it's not exactly that. It's that. and then it's this. It's so I keep turning on and off the keyboard because this is the life of a left-handed person. So it's going to look like this. Do, do, do. Tied to this, right? Yes. And then this. Bar line. And the chords up top. Like that. To write this out like this. Double flat, which I think is one of the stupidest things. I hate having to write a double flat, but I'd rather just write whatever it was. But in that case, we kind of have to. Like that. And then when we write this, regular flat, right? And the chord changes are going to be B minor and then major 7. I think that's a little more well defined, and then B flat minor 7, right? So then we have the next part of the song, which we haven't really defined yet. So how about we play through what we have so far? Man, I keep messing this up. Let's do it again. You know what's kind of weird is this going from here to here is very abrupt. So what I may do is add like a second ending, because going from is a little too abrupt for me. I don't know. Maybe it's because I'm not holding that note down long enough. It's just a little abrupt, right? What I may do instead is something like, or maybe that's still not great. Maybe that already sounds better, because it's leading towards the note, right? That doesn't lead towards it as well. So what I may do is... That already sounds so much better. Do, 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 do. Now, unfortunately, I can't do anything about that now, but I'll have to remember it for... Because this is in the... this is my, like, rough copy notebook, and then underneath it is the final copy notebook. So I'll have to remember when I do the final copy to throw it in there. So, because all this stuff, remember, is in the rough copy notebook. So I'll put add second ending in there for myself to remember to put that in there. Okay, so I want a second part to this. So after... It could be something simple like this, which is... Yeah, that's really simple. That's only one extra measure. And actually, I kind of like that. And that's just a G major chord. And to play this, essentially. 1 and 2 and D D D D D. Yeah, I like that. And then these are going to be whole notes. Yeah. And then we do one of these, which it should be on the other side, but since I cluttered it with naturals, I can't do that, which just means roll it. And this is probably going to be this. Yeah, let's do that actually. So this would mean that this would come in here. And what I could even do is this. Have this be tied to bum ba bum. But da 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 da. Like that. And then this is all this is the only one that needs to be naturalized because they're naturalized here. And that's then tied to this. Boom. back into it. It's real simple, real easy. So what we need to do next is time this, first off, just to see how long it would be. And I'll play through it twice. Just because I want to see how long it would be, and then I'd probably do something like, do like a little solo over it or something. So I will start this at 5 seconds. 3, 4... It was playing at that speed. It's about 50 seconds, which is not very long, but you're also not including me repeating that, which is, if I did that, it would be 1 minute and 25 seconds. And then if I soloed off of it, I was thinking that as like an intro. Right. We have an intro, which I'll have to write down that there's going to be an intro. Right. Intro, and it would be A flat minor, G flat minor, and then eventually G major. This can go a little longer. Right. So another thing I want to do here is I'd like to put a double bar line with some of these going on. And then top eventually. Oh shit, no, sorry. No repeat there. Repeats are up there. Yeah. So I think that's a pretty decent song right there. See, a song like that took us about 2 minutes, or 2 hours, 2 minutes, 2 hours, right? Now, we still might want to put in a bass line of some kind. That's probably something I'd add at the final product because, you know what? No, we can add it. We can add it today. Yeah, we can definitely add that today. I'm going to take just a really quick break here because I really want to eat my breakfast that I bought and I haven't had a chance to eat. So I will be right back. Give me 1 sec. Surprisingly, that was long enough for me to finish that. Okay, so now what we need to do is write a baseline. I wonder if it's easier if I do it this way. If I have this ear exposed to this, which actually makes sense now because now I'm on the left side of the keyboard and we have to know the left side of the keyboard for this. Also, we have to keep in mind that the rhythm is do 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 do. Ba, 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 you know, something like that. I guess it's not really a triplet, is it? A triplet would be deep, 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 deep. Yeah, I guess it kind of is. I don't know how to explain exactly the feeling I want. That made a weird noise. So, as far as a baseline, I want it to be kind of similar to what's going on here, but also kind of fill in gaps where there aren't very many gaps in this, but I do kind of want something where it's like I want that. Right? So, I want it to be something like this. Doo-doo. Oh. It's a fire somewhere. I'm going to mute myself so it's not too loud. It's loud as shit. Holy crap, dude. Whoa. That got like super loud. So this is going to be like this. Actually, we can actually even do this. Like that. Oh man. So the ending has to be this. So it should be this, right? I think that makes sense. Do boo doo 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 boo doo doo boo doo 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 boo doo boo boo doo 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 boo doo doo. And then we have whoa. Didn't mean to do that. Sorry, I'm just refreshing the stream real quick. Do boo doo 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 boo boo doo 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 boo. Now this may stay in, this may not. I haven't really decided if I like this enough to keep it in. Do da boo doo 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 boo doo boo. So actually this could be like this. Boo boo ba boo doo da ba. Da ba da da. Now again, this has to be a double flat. As much as I hate that. Well, actually, does it? Yeah, let's make that attached. Do 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 do. Oh God. Look at how horrible that is. Let me fix that. It's really bad. So we have 1, right? 2, and not enough there. So this has to be this. I want this to be the same too as the melody. Like that. Man, I'm just so excited to start playing this and, like, not just, you know, spend all my time writing. I like that. So that's just all 16th notes. Doo-boo, 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 doo. Oh man, there's like not enough room for this whole thing. Plus there's gonna be so many naturals. Do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do. No. Why did I write G? It's not even close. That is a B natural. And then D natural. And then we have this, and then this, and we have to write double flat. It's like that. You know what I just realized? This is actually wrong. This has to have a flat there. That's why I got confused. So it goes. I kind of want that to be a unison line. I think it would sound really cool that way. So that's going to be exactly the same. Boom, boom, ba, boom, boom. Boop, ba, ba, ba. And then this is a regular flat again. Ba da da. Doop doop ba ba bum bo dum. Boop bum 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 bo dum bum bum. Da bum bum bo. So we have 1, 2. Da dum dum dum. Doop doop ba 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 da bum bum. So it should be this, and then this, which is naturalized. And then back up to the top, right? So it should sound like this. I think what my brain is thinking that I can play a chord here, and I think what I'm thinking about is like a 2-5. So it sounds like. So maybe I can do something like. Do. So it's going to look like this. Like this. Do. So this is going to sound like. Oh, maybe that. Might be too much for a bass player to play that whole line, though. That's kind of a ridiculous line. But let's try it. I don't really know. I've never really played a bass. Maybe this makes more sense too. Going like this. That sounds pretty cool. Let's do that. That's quite a lot, to be honest with you, but and I don't know if that's too much to ask of a bass player. So this would be do 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 do. So it'd be like this. Do do do. And then G natural. B flat down here, and then E flat, and it would look like this. It's like the skinniest and worst looking series of notes, but it goes. Always play things slower if you can't get it right away. Maybe that. Yeah. So. Yeah. I kind of just like do 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 do. So this would be or nah, you can't hear that as well. You can hear that way better. So this would be a natural. It'd be re-flatted. It'd be like this. Do 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 do. And this would be tied to this. Or nah, I like it the other way. Do 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 do. And then this would be tied to one of these. Like this. And then that would be tied over into the next set of things. The stream quickly. It is 12 o'clock and it is fairly slow today. It was a Thursday, Boom, bam, bam, down, do, 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 do. Boom, do, do. So this is going to be the exact same thing, except we just have this tie at the beginning. Boo, boo, doo, boo, 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 dee, dee, boo. Which I will write out. And then how did I write that out again? Oh yeah, really scrunched up and terrible looking. Now we actually have some room to do it. And then we have shit, fucks. This. And that gets reflatted into this. Boom, boom, boom. Same thing here. Do 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 do. Oh, I just realized I have to add something to the end of that. Do 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 do. Actually, if I'm gonna repeat that, I'm gonna just do the same thing that I did in that earlier thing, which is this. Tied. And that's gonna be tied to one of these, which will then be tied like this and that, and then bam, that's the song. So everything's actually been written. This can actually just kind of be transferred into the final copy right away, but we will not do that just yet. But that should be everything. Yeah, I kind of like that idea of changing up the chords and stuff to just like D flat 7, and then this would be E flat 7 sharp 11. I think that actually sounds pretty cool. Or maybe the first time around we don't use that. Maybe we put them in parentheses. You know, first time around you play it nice and soft like this. You know, we go. Then maybe next time, or no, then we would go on to. So, okay, I'm going to play through this how I think it's going to go. And the reason I'm doing this is to time, and I'm going to time this to see if it matches up at all with the other songs in this playlist for this game. Stopwatch cannot be reached. It's just stopwatch. Okay, cool. Jesus. At least play the right frickin' notes, dude. Alright. about 2 minutes. Now the rest of it is also going to include, you know, yeah, that can work though. Only, I mean, 2 minutes long, and we haven't even like soloed off of it or anything yet. That is plenty of time for what I want. No, we don't want that. I really love this middle part. I bet that'd sound better with the piano, actually, because you can hear the real difference in the chords, and you can't hear them as well like an electric piano. I love that. Yeah, that's going to work really nicely with that song. And even with the bass. I like that a lot. So that is going to be kind of the rough draft of that. I would definitely say we've topped that off to its extent. 2 minutes long for just playing through that, you know, normally how I expect to play it through is plenty of time.
So now we move on to project number 13. Now I'm just wondering if we have enough time to start going through that. I think so. Now, project number 13 is going to be what? Well, I was kind of going over this in my head. I want to do an arrangement of a song. We've been making up songs thus far, so now let's do an arrangement. So, let me refresh the stream really quick. Flip that over. What I want to do an arrangement of is another Sonic Adventure song, because I had actually said, like, at the very beginning of starting all this, I wanted to, like, rewrite, like, almost all those songs, because I really like the songs from Sonic Adventure. So that was going to be my plan. And I've done one, which actually I'll play. Let me find it. It's in the final copy book. This beauty, this gem, if you want to call it that. Oops. So the actual song is, I will play it again, this. Sounds nothing like my version of it, because I totally arranged it completely differently. Alright, so it goes on from there, it repeats, and there's a middle section. Right here. And then back to the top. So my version of it's completely different. I changed it into two blueses. Two 8-bar blueses. One is in G major, and one is in A flat minor. But I'm playing through these, and I'm like, wait a minute, this is very similar to like a blues. And I'm like, oh, let's do a blues out of it. So it goes like this. And then the next part of it is can add bass notes and stuff like that. I love this, like, total remake of a song. Because it doesn't sound anything like that, right? The original song is completely different. But I have the melody in there and all that. I just completely changed the concept of the song. And it's just so cool. Like, it works so well. I'm so glad that this song just happens to work super well with this. And even the second part. Even the second part of the song, let me get to it. Right here. Do 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 do. This. And then it goes right back into it beautifully. So it just all happened to work out in a way where I was able to arrange it into something completely different. Thanks, man. I appreciate it. But, yeah. It just all happens to link up together. And this is, like, the cool part of music, right? Where you're able to completely change it into something different. So I'm like, I love the Sonic Adventure music. And I was like, let's just keep doing arrangements of Sonic Adventure music. So I did another arrangement of this song earlier on. Like, the very first thing I did on stream was this song, if I can find it. I think it's called Welcome to Station Square or Station Square. It's the Station Square theme. If you ever played Sonic Adventure, it's the Station Square theme. Okay, guess it's not called that. Where is it called? It's like it's from the Hub World in Station Square. It's not called, like, Station Square or Welcome to Station Square, really? I think I remember it being called something real weird anyways. The hell is it? I actually wanted to play that. I haven't played my version of it in, like, a really long time, but I wanted to play this version of it at least. Here's the Mystic Ruin song. Everyone knows that from, if you've ever played Sonic Adventure. But that's not what I'm looking for. Nope. Yeah, here it is. Welcome. Why the hell can I find that? Let me find my version of it. It's not in this notebook. Did I rip it out? No, here it is. It sounds off because, like, their version of the tuned instrument is different than my version of the tuned instrument. And then it goes on from there. It kind of just repeats. So I did a version of it where the chords are all effed up. Oh my god, I can't even read that. I just destroyed these chords. Oh my god. I'm starting to remember it a little bit. It was like super fast. That's how fast I was playing it. Oh, and then this. And then I did a solo off of it and stuff, but it was like this super fast, like very complex jazz thing. Oh man. This took me like... So it took me about 10 or so minutes to just come up with the idea, but it took me like an hour to write all this out because of how freaking long it is and just how specific I had to get with everything. And then changing up all the rhythms and stuff to make it completely different, because that sounds totally different than like what the original is. But you can't have it like too similar, and you can't have it too far away. There's like a really... I feel like actually arranging songs is a lot more difficult than making your own song. Because making your own song, you start from scratch, you have nothing to base it off of. Maybe you have some inspirations, but you have nothing to base it off of. So it's really just... Like, if you want to do this, you can do this, and no one would care, because it's your music. You can do whatever you want with it. But if you're arranging a song, it has to fit into this extremely tiny... And I don't even know if I've achieved it, but it has to fit into this tiny little sliver where it's not too similar to the song, but it's not too wild and complex from the song. Because if it's too complex, no one's going to understand it. Like, I remember... Okay, so I went to New York City about a month ago, and I went and saw a jazz group out there, and they played 2 songs right off the bat, and they didn't announce what they were. They just played these 2 songs, and I was like, okay, these are really cool. They're very hip. They're fast. They got a lot of really cool like rhythm changes and stuff like this does. I really like this. And the second one was very similar, and I'm like, dang, those are really cool. I'm like, they really wrote some good songs. And then they come on the mic and they go, yeah, so that was a jazz standard called All the Things You Are. And I played that song a bunch of times. It's a jazz standard. People play it all the time, and like, if it's a jazz trio, they play in bars. And he said that, and I was like, what are you talking? I didn't hear that at all. And I was so caught off guard by it, because I was like, no, he just wrote a brand new song. But no, it was actually mimicking. So that was like the extreme end of that. But then there's things that are like, if you've ever just looked up like Pokemon theme remix, or this remix, or this, and a lot of the times it's just like the same exact thing with just a beat underneath it. So you hear like do 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 do, and then boom, 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 boom. That's a little too similar, right? All you did was just add a beat to it. But as an example, I did something similar to that as well, where I did like a remix of like the credit music from Pokemon, but I changed it up pretty drastically, to the point where the only way you would know it was Pokemon is if I added the Pokemon theme in there, which I had to do, because if I didn't, you wouldn't know it was Pokemon. Oh, hey, maybe turn the volume up? And then it goes, shit. And then I gotta flip the page. And that was the whole thing. And at that point, like, see, I scratched it out. That was going to be the end. But you hear that? Do you think that that's like, if I didn't tell you it was Pokemon, would you think it was Pokemon? Probably not. It just sounds like a big piece, like a big epic piece of music. It doesn't sound specifically like Pokemon. So what I had to do was just add. And all I think I did here is... Now it's Pokemon because you hear the Pokemon theme. So that's why this was like credit music. So I was pretending that the first part of that didn't sound exactly like Pokemon was like the intro to the credit music, and then bam, the credit music. So you do have to have some similarity, but you also don't want it to be too similar. So finding that healthy medium is extremely difficult. Which is why if someone wants to arrange something, it is like one of the hardest things to do, I think, is arranging music. I really enjoy it because I like the challenge, and I like seeing like if people are like, oh yeah, I recognize that, or people are saying like, oh, that's really interesting how you did that. Like, basically, as long as they can recognize it, is the point. So I want to do that with Sonic Adventure music, because that was a game that was like one of the first games I played that I like binge played. I played a lot of Sonic Adventure. Because for some reason as a kid I had a Dreamcast. That was my childhood system, was a Dreamcast, which you can say is upsetting, and it kind of is, but I liked it. There are a few good games for the Dreamcast. I really enjoyed the Dreamcast. Because I started with the Sega Genesis. That wasn't even mine, but it basically was by the time I was old enough. And I also would play computer games, but I wouldn't play like I would play educational games, but that wasn't the only thing I played. I also played a lot of point and click games that were first person, and like the shitty late 90s point and click games. Played a lot of those. Like Myst. That's why I did a Myst soundtrack, because I played a lot of Myst as a kid, even though it's like the most terrifying and one of the hardest games ever if you don't know what you're doing. But I played a lot of Myst. I played a lot of the Journeyman Project, which is a point and click game from that era that's a lot of fun. And if I ever got a decent following on Twitch, I would stream that all day, because that's such a cool game, and I think it's such a goofy game too, and I think it'd be fun to stream. What else did I play back then? Well, I played that basically, right? And then I got a Sega Dreamcast when I was like 6 or something, so like 1999, I guess. Basically when it came out. And then immediately, like 2 years later, I got a PS2, because it turns out that the Sega Dreamcast was not lasting that long, so I only had a few games for it. But and then I stupidly traded it in for a GameCube. One of the stupidest things I would never have done that ever again. I ended up getting another Dreamcast anyways, but like that was so stupid of me to do. Really, it was. Because I only played like 3 games on the GameCube. It was a complete waste of money. But anyways, now I'm going off on my video game world. But anyways, yeah, Sonic Adventure was really important to me. I really liked that game, and I thought that the music... It was the first time I played a game where the music was not some 16-bit or 18-bit rendition of something, right? It was like the first, like, oh, they actually recorded this. Like, it's actual music. It's not to say that 18-bit music isn't 8-bit music, but like it was the first video game I played with like real music in it. I was like, wow, that's so cool. So that's kind of what I want to do is every once in a while I will throw in rearrangements of the songs from that game. So I guess the next question is, what game do I want to do? And I actually have a few that I want to do. One of them is, if I can find it, this, I think. Nope. Although that's a sick song. And yes, I do realize that they probably used MIDI to record a lot of this stuff, but I still love it. I love this song. This is such a sick song. I know, it's not what you think. It's not E102's theme. So freaking cool. I should also mention it's the first song that has like a saxophone in it, and I was like, oh my god, that's an instrument. Like, that's not a synthesizer. I don't think that was right, but... There's also a vibraphone. I'm waiting for that. There's a solo. Oh, where is it? This is saxophone. This is the keyboard solo, if you want to call it that. Where's the vibraphone? I think it's here. Yeah. And I mean, it's a fairly simple song. I mean, it's just A minor. Just A minor. It's just going around A minor a bunch. I mean, you could use the A minor blues scale. You can do whatever you want. It's pretty easy. But to be able to remix that, and I was thinking of like turning it into like a Latin song, because a lot of popular Latin songs in jazz and just in general are in A minor for some reason. I don't know why that is, but there are a lot that are in A minor. So, right. So the first task is I have to write the thing out in its original state. Right? I have to write it out exactly as it is now and then change it. Because if you try to change it like without writing it down, you're going to make some mistakes, or you might have a different interpretation of what you think it is, and so you'll just write it down, and then people will be like, oh, where was that in the song? Being able to find out specifics. So that song is called Crazy Robo Boss E101R. That's a great name. That is a great name for a song. And let me preface this by saying, this song plays at the final boss fight for E102's storyline in Sonic Adventure. So in Sonic Adventure, you pick between, I think it's 6 characters: E102, Big, Knuckles, Sonic, Tails, and Amy. Yeah, 6 characters. Okay. You can play with 6 different characters, and E102 Gamma is one of them. It's like one of the only times he appears. Actually, it's the only time he appears in the Sonic universe, because then it's Omega. It's just stupid. But anyways, yeah. So that's that. So it's in A minor, which means we have no sharps or flats. So therefore, we don't have to write a key signature. However, we do have to pick. What if we did it in 3/4? That would be kind of interesting, huh? Oh, dude, what if we did it in 3/4? Let me think about that. How can we do that? I'm gonna refresh the stream quickly. What if we did like doom 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 doom. Or in 5. Just change it up that way. Change it up rhythmically. We didn't do that in my last arrangement of a Sonic Adventure song. So let's do it in this one. Do. Yeah, let's do it in 5. Have you ever heard the song Take 5? That's not even right. Oh my goodness. Let's do the same sort of thing. Yeah, let's do that. So it's a version of Take 5 with a Sonic Adventure song. Do da do da do da do da do 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 da ba do da do. So that's what we're gonna do. But again, before we continue, we have to write out this whole thing. So let me find a blank page that's like not being used for anything. Yeah, that's work. Oh, what is this used for? I have like weird spacing and stuff in this. These were some other Sonic Adventure songs I was going to rewrite, but I never did. Maybe I'll do that someday. This is a blank page. Let me think about this. How do I want to do this? God, I wrote this out so stupidly, too. Let's put it here. This page is already ripped out, so it'll make it easy for me to kind of like go back and forth between the two. So let's do that. So, we have to listen. So, alright. This is a case where we have to listen to this song a few times to understand exactly what's going on in it and to figure out what's going on in it. Now, there are sections where there are solos. That we're not going to write out. We're just going to put what the chords are during the solo section, which, for my money, I'm guessing is that. So, but we need to do this in order to completely understand what we're working with here. We're going to want R, and then I think for most of these I've just written them. Yeah, we're going to do the same thing. Just going to do this. Okay. So, there's an intro. I'm not going to worry about the intro because it's got weird... there's no real music going on in it. I mean, there's the weird E101 thing. This, right? Which is in E flat, which we don't have. That's not important. There's this build up, and the whole thing is so that's the beginning. That's where we're gonna start, right? So, in that case, let me slide this over just a smidge. I can tell you what the chords are already. I mean, they're super basic. Also, we have to remember this isn't 4/4. I did not write that down. And it's about this fast, which that's about 120. We can get it. We can get a better estimate than that, and we probably should. Let me pull up my metronome. 134. Yeah, that makes sense. 134. I think that's good. It's good to note that. So it's A minor 7. And basically all we're going to be writing is the melody and the chords. And if there's anything else important, all right, that's great. Oh, that's awesome. That is the best thing ever right there. And then I'm so glad that that person did that. And it's just going back and forth between these two. Now, it does this for a while, and I want to see if it's long enough that I can put a repeat here and it's worth it. Go back to where that starts. This twice now that this has happened. 3 times. 4 times. 5 times. 6 times. That is definitely enough for a repeat. So we're just going to do this. And yes, I know that there's on top of it things like there's like the strings going and building on top of it, and that's fine and all, and that's dandy, but it's A minor. It's A minor stuff. So we'll say that much, right? So this is going to get vamped 6 times. So what you write, instead of writing like repeat 5 times, you can just put 6 times, and people will generally know what that is. And then we get into the saxophone thing, which is technically a solo, but the thing is he repeats it again later on in the song. So because of that, and because it's that exact, we may want to write it out. I don't know. It doesn't seem to affect much of like what's going on, but I'm gonna probably write it out just to have it. Because it's a cool solo, so might as well write it out. Plus it does that. Sick. Boo doo 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 doo. So we have one and so it's that's supposed to be a rest. Boy, oh howdy, is it not? Do that, do that. There we go. And then one more time. Right? And then it's so this is gonna go like this. Dude. Oh, I'm sorry. There's another rest there. I obviously did not make this long enough. Oh, so this is actually slightly different. The rest, actually, you know what, we're moving this over because I don't want to run out of room. The rest is actually one of these lovely little things. It is a 8th rest and a 16th rest, which means that it's 3 16th notes, essentially, is what you're resting for. And then it's like this. And actually what we could probably do is this. And it's like that. And then it's this. Wow, am I glad that I rewrote that. Way, way better. Okay, so I know it's tough to read, but it basically is. And then it does that. And yes, we are going to write out that second part just to have it. So that's going to get repeated, and then we're going to just write a little 1 there as in like a first ending, and a 2 as in a second ending. That will probably be the length of this. And this I'm going to write 6 times. I'm going to write it there. And we're going to write 6 times total repeats. That's going to be kind of weird, but just trust me on that. So let's go back to the top. Oh, it's... I think it's that. Let me hear that again. Now, it definitely starts here, but I think it kind of like gets mixed up with a lot of false beats going on in the song. I think it's just that. So... yeah, I think it's just that. Da 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 da. So this is that, do that, and then do 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 do. That is sharped. And this whole thing is repeated 3 times. Or 6 times. 6 times. And actually, what I can do is I can write 3 times, which means once you get to here, repeat it, and play through this whole thing 3 times, which makes sense, right? So you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, right? Because you're using these first and second endings. So the whole thing is repeated a total of 3 times. All right. I love that. And these are the same chords. I did not write that down. Minor 7, 5, 5, E7 altered. Yeah. So boom. We got that down. And that's like half the song. I have to warn you that those chords are pretty much the only chords in the song. There are other chords when it gets to that do 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 do. There is that. I mean, it's not that much different, and there really aren't even chords there. It's just kind of like swirly stuff going on. You know what I mean? There are not really chords there, but whatever. So I think, okay, just as a general idea of what's going to happen the rest of the stream here, I will probably finish writing this out, and then I'm going to have to, I'll probably have to get going after that. But I will be back tomorrow at 9 in the morning, as I usually start, just to let everyone know. So, just to give you a idea of how much longer I'm going to be going here. It'll probably be another hour-ish, depending on how long it takes me to finish this. I would think another hour. Okay, so we have to go over what happens after this and see if the chords change at all. Okay, so here's where it comes in. No. Chords are exactly the same. The chords do not change. I can have both of these on. I give you the same thing. I'm waiting for it to do that or like something else. Because this is the classic thing, right? Is that you go 1 and then 4, 5, 1. But no, it doesn't do that. It's literally just the whole time. So I need to figure out how many measures long that was. So let me go back real quick. I'm assuming 8. Yeah. Then it changes. Changes there. But the rest of it is 8 bars of a saxophone solo with the same chords. So, do I want to write out the whole saxophone solo? I can almost play it. You know, the volume was up on my keyboard. And then it goes. Oh, that's so awesome. Which is actually notable, because that might be something we want to include in our version of the song, is that. That's so sick, though. I don't think we need to write out that whole thing. It's not important, that important. If the chords were changed, maybe. No, if the chords were changed, we definitely would. But the chords aren't changing. You know, the saxophone player is just soloing off of those chords. You know what I mean? It's not important enough to write down. So what I'm going to do is one of these. One of these lovely little things, and just say, and the reason I have to write it like that is because the chord changes. And we'll write 4 times. Right? Yes. 4 times 2 is 8. That is the correct number. Okay. Now we have to. Now this is going to be interesting. This next part, because I have no idea what the chords are here. So the most important thing, probably to start this one off, is to write down the melody first, because the melody will help us figure out what the chords are. I love that. Okay. No. So that's okay, that's what it is. No. Yeah, well, we get the gist. At least the beginning part. Do 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 do. Da 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 da. Do 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 do. Do 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 do. Why am I getting confused on this? Oh, you know why? Okay, this is interesting actually. So it's this. Da 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 da. This is tied over. And now the second measure here are all offbeats. And then eventually gets back on track. But like you hear how it's like that, 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 da, 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 da. So this is ooh, do 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 do. I'm sorry, it's not this. There. So it's... Let me make sure that I counted that correctly. 1, 2, 3. Yep. Now I gotta hear the rest. I gotta hear that again because I'm not exactly sure what happens after that. I'm gonna play it every time. That's it. So. Da, 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 da. Dun. And it's like this. Do 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 do. Yes, there's going to be a lot of this. And I believe it's just that, right? Back just a bit. Dee doo dee. One, two, three. Yeah. I've completely forgot a bar line. I'm like, what am I doing? So the ending of this measure should be this. Okay, so we have to film. I love how I like start measures in weird spots. I do that all the time. We know this is E. So we could just do that. I don't know why I have a flag there. We don't need one. So we have 1, 2. And that's going to be an 8th note. So 1, 2, 3. I don't know why I did this way. This is the stupidest way to write a measure. Is that correct? 1, 2, 3. Yes, it is. So... And I believe that's the same. I know that this first measure is the same. Do 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 do. These two measures are exactly the same. Do do do. That's tied over. Do 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 do. Do 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 do. There we go. Okay. Now we just have to figure out the very ending. That's really easy. Double check that, but I'm pretty sure that's just it. It's da 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 da. So this is then tied to 1 and 2, 4. This and then should actually be up. And then guess what? Another solo. So, here's what I'm going to do. The next part of this song, the rest of this song is basically all solos. So what we're going to write out is the next part of this song, just to make sure we have the measures correct. And then we're going to go back to this and write out the chords for it. Just so that we have the entire thing done by the time we're done with this part, because this is gonna require a lot of listening. But this part here, how many times have we heard this? That's 8. And back to here. So one thing I'm interested in, I feel like this just goes back to the top, because it's the exact same thing, right? It's just a different person soloing, and they go back to this. And then this is different. Not really. It's just a different. It's just a solo. Now we're back to this. And back to the top, and then it fades out, and then that's it. It would continue on, if you were still fighting the boss, because this is supposed to loop, right? There's no ending to this because it's a boss fight, so it continues until you beat the boss or until you die. So this song does not have an ending to it. But if you want to put this into a structure, we're putting it into a structure. So there's this beginning with. That's repeated 3 times. All that. Right? Then this is a solo section, which I should write solo section, or just solo. That's an 8-bar phrase. So you repeat these 2 bars 4 times. 8 times 4, or 8 times 4. 2 times 8. Oh my god. 2 times 4 is 8. And then we have this middle part. And then it goes back up to the top, does the exact same thing, goes through the middle part again. And then there's another little 8-bar thing, which is just kind of there. And then you just write top. And this is just repeated another 4 times. And it's the exact same thing. It's just that it's thrown in kind of weirdly into the song. We want to get this as accurate as possible, so that we have something to go off of when we eventually do this. There's a lot of soloing, right? So how much can we really reinvent this? Well, we change the chords a lot. That's how we reinvent it, basically. So now we have to just figure out the chord changes for this middle part. And I can tell you right now, this is A minor. And I can tell you it probably starts with A minor. But it's tough because a lot of Sonic Adventure songs, including this one, don't really play chords. They just kind of play notes, which don't help much when you're trying to figure this stuff out. But if you hear, like, there's bass notes, but there aren't real, like, thick chords or anything like that to go off of. So it's pretty tough to figure this out. I'm mostly going to be we're going to listen to this. I'm going to listen to bass notes and see if I can pick any out specifically. So if you hear me noodling, I apologize, but we got to really figure this out in order to get as accurate as possible of an idea of what we're rearranging here. I'm also going to try to timestamp this so I know exactly where to start it every time. Okay, so this right here is F major or F7. I can't really tell. I guess it can't be F7. This is F major 7, I guess. E7, A minor 7. That I heard like instantly. Okay. So it's time stamped at 49 seconds. So I can start it there every time. I think it's that. Let me hear it again. Yeah. Oh, okay. So it's just going down and it just... That's all it's doing. Okay. All right. This is going to make it way easier. And then we have G sharp in the bass. Actually, we can move that over. Okay, we got it. G sharp in the bass, and then G in the bass, and then F sharp in the bass. So it's not changing the chord. Oh, wow. It's just changing the bass note. So it's going like this. Tell you something. Now, I don't know. I'm changing the chord there because it doesn't sound quite right, but... I'm guessing this is the same thing. So it's not really playing chords, but if it was, it would be playing it like this. So we gotta listen to the rest of it. But at least we had, that's a huge breakthrough. Same thing. Okay. Yeah. So it's A minor throughout there. Same thing, and then it's G in the bass. G sharp in the bass, sorry. And then G in the bass, and then F sharp in the bass. And then this is F major 7, E7, and then that's it. So that is that is the song. Like literally, that's it. So if I were to play my own version of it, or if I were to play it. And then yeah. So it's pretty simple. It's a lot of fun. That's a fun song to play, I'll tell you that much. Okay. So we have something to go off of for tomorrow, right? This is how we're going to write our next song, our arrangement. So tomorrow, we're going to write an arrangement of that in 5/4, 9 a.m. Thank you very much for coming out. I really appreciate it. If you haven't already, please hit follow. It helps me out, keeps me wanting to come back and do this kind of stuff for you guys. I really appreciate that. I stream every single day as much as as often as I can. I'm trying to, at least for weekdays, I stream every day. Weekends, it varies what time I start, but I usually will stream on weekends, depending on what's going on, because those are always pretty unpredictable. But yeah, thanks so much for coming out. Again, I will be back tomorrow, 9 a.m. starting, and I will leave you guys with. I will pick a song from Sonic Adventure. All right, stay tuned, and I'll see you tomorrow.